Hello and welcome to another fabulous quick crop video. Well, we can see that I'm a little incapacitated today due to this sling, but such is my love of composting that I'm going to push through the pain barrier, and we're going to have a look at some of our tastier composting solutions we sell on the quick crop site. As I said, we're going to ignore the sling, and even though you can't see it, the back brace under my shirt here, which is making me stand up like some sort of demented meerkat, and we're going to have a look at these composting solutions. So basically composting, it's always the same process, and you're basically turning kitchen or garden waste into usable compost for the garden, and you can be doing that with either a simple compost pile or something as fancy as the Joraform JK series that we're going to have a look at later. The only difference really in the different composting types is the speed at which you can make the compost and the types of material that you can put in. Today we're going to be looking at our pretty thermo wood composter here, the Hungry Bin, the Hotbin, and as I said, the JK series. So let's go ahead and get started. So first up is our 600 litre German-made Thermo wood composter, and it's a really attractive unit. You can see here that it has this quite nice slatted wood effect on the front, which is really quite realistic looking. Now the thermo wood is so called because it's made of a material called thermalin, and this is basically a UV stabilized recycled plastic that has little air bubbles inside to keep the heat in, and this heat retaining quality allows the thermo wood to compost, I suppose, about 10-20% faster than a normal standard composter, which is really handy. But as I said, for me it's really the looks of the thermo wood which is the big winner. And next up we have the Hungry Bin. Now this produces compost in a completely different way because it uses tiger worms to break down your waste. Now the big advantage of the Hungry Bin is that the compost the worms produce is extremely nutrient rich and is actually a perfectly balanced fertilizer for your garden. Now the reason we supply the Hungry Bin is that it's pretty much the only Wormery composter that's going to be large enough to deal with waste from any average household. Any other solution, they're really just hobby kits. The Hungry Bin is exceptionally well made. It's made from a food grade tough UV resistant plastic. It's very sturdy, easily as sturdy as the wheelie bin it's designed to work alongside. It's a very clever system. It uses this conical shape here, and the way that works is the worms live in the top of the Hungry Bin here at the widest portion because they're surface feeders, so the worms really are just sort of around this level here. And then the compost that they produce moves down through the bin. The conical shape compresses it as it goes so that when you remove it from the hatch here at the bottom, it doesn't fall out. Now the Hungry Bin also has this drip tray underneath, and that's catching a really nutrient rich liquid fertilizer which works its way through the bin, and that's known as worm tea. The Hungry Bin, just like a wheelie bin, can be moved around on these sturdy wheels here, which is handy, and you can even move it when it's full of compost. So this unit is going to work, I suppose, for a family of 4, that sort of size household. It can process about 2 kg of food waste a day. It'll deal with your vegetable garden waste and then also your kitchen vegetable waste. Now you can also put cooked food in the Hungry Bin, but please do avoid putting any meat, fish, dairy or fats in it. So to sum up on this one, as we said, it's really well made. It's designed to last 25 years or more. It's really easy to use once you get the hang of it, and it really is one we would highly recommend for keen gardeners due to the nutrient-rich compost that it produces. And now things really hot up with our hot bins. So we can see that just like the Hungry Bin, the hot bin is designed to sit alongside your wheelie bin, and we have that classic bin-like shape, I suppose, in both these models here, but that is where the similarity ends. The hot bin is made from an expanded polypropylene, and what that does is insulate the contents of the bin and allows it to reach about 60 degrees Celsius and above. And what that means is that the composting process is an awful lot quicker. In your best case scenario with a hot bin, you can get finished compost in 30 days, and that's about 32 times faster than your standard cold composter. The high speed or high temperature composting also has the advantage that any weed seeds are killed, and it does allow us to put in a wider range of materials in the hot bin, and that includes meat, fish or fats from the kitchen. The hot bin is really easy to use. Like all the other composters, we're just putting material in at the top. And then this panel here at the front, I don't know if you can see it, that whole panel is removed then to empty the material from the bin. We can also see a little blue cap here, and that's used to empty any liquid that the bin might produce. And that can also be used as a liquid fertilizer. As I said, the unit gets very hot, and we can check the temperature here with this temperature gauge on the top, and we can adjust the temperature by opening or closing this lid valve. Now, every hot bin also comes with an extra little thermometer here, and that's used to check the core temperature of the compost. So you can just open the lid and poke that into the compost inside. Like any composting solution, the mix of material you put in the hot bin is going to be important, and we find these work best with a mix of about 50% of your garden or kitchen waste and then 50% of shredded paper or cardboard. It's also important because it's enclosed just to keep air spaces in the mix, and each hot bin comes with a bag of this essentially bark mulch, if you want to have a little look in here, and this basically is just layered within the material in the hot bin and just puts in some air pockets within it. Now, the hot bins come in two sizes, as we said. This is the 200 litre model that we were looking at, and then the smaller 100 litre one. But remember, that size is deceptive here. The 200 litre unit is only a third of the size of the Thermo wood composter, but because of the speed at which it could compost, because of the heat, it'll actually process about the same amount of material. And finally, we come to the Joraform rotating composter. Now, this one here is the JK270, which means it's 270 litre capacity. There's also a smaller unit, the 125, and then the 400, which of course is a 400 litre. Now, just like the hot bin, the Joraform is an insulated composter, which means it makes compost very quickly. But there are a number of key differences with this unit, which, in my opinion, makes this one the Rolls-Royce of composters. As we can see, this is a rotating composter, and that has a big advantage because if you get your mix wrong, you can easily correct it by adding either more of your garden or kitchen waste or more of the shredded paper or cardboard. We just pop it in, give it another spin, and it all mixes in nicely. The rotation has another advantage in that it allows you to add air to the mix, and that's important to keep the composting process going as quickly as possible. The other big difference is this dual chamber system, and basically the way that works is that one chamber is always closed off and is basically maturing to produce finished compost, and we're adding material to the other one. When we empty a full one, we basically start filling that and we close off the other to mature, and they just swap around. The other part that I really like about the Joraform is that this green finish here, underneath here is galvanized steel panels, and together with it being off the ground like this, make the whole thing completely rodent proof. So again, like the hot bin, this can process pretty much the same amount of stuff. You can put in all your garden waste, your kitchen waste, you can put in meat, fish, dairy, fats, anything in this. And as I said, the advantage really of it is that if we get that mix wrong, we can easily correct it. So the Joraform is the most expensive of all the solutions that we've looked at today, but realistically probably the most versatile in terms of ease of use and how forgiving it is, and then also in the range of materials it can process. If you're looking for something to deal with larger amounts of material, say for a school or a restaurant, this guy's big brother, the JK400, can process much larger amounts of waste. So these units here, we're kind of on the borderline here between a domestic and a professional solution. So look, I'm sure you can tell I really like these ones. Okay, well that's it. I really hope you've enjoyed our little composting video. Now, these guys here, they're only a small part of our composting range, but in my mind, they're the key players if you want to make great garden compost with the minimum of fuss. We also do some timber compost bins, including our New Zealand box composter system, which I feature in another video, which you can click at the end of this one if you'd like to watch it. If you like our videos and enjoy what we do, please click the old subscribe button. We certainly would be honoured to have you with us on our channel. So, as I always say, everything that you see in this video, apart from me, they're all available on our websites, quickcrop.ie and quickcrop.co.uk. We look forward to seeing you in the Quick Crop garden sometime soon.